Narcosis. Up next. I have way too many people watching this shit. So you can disperse now. You know, it's not gonna get any better from here. See ya.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.
Someone just said, now I get that scene from Deadpool. I can't conceive of a world where people didn't obsessively watch Ferris Bueller. It's such a weird thought. But that's only because it was so fucking popular when I was growing up. And it was on every channel all the time. And that's also the second time I've referenced Ferris Bueller tonight. And that was not the plan from the start. It's not even that good of a movie. You know, it's... You watch it now and it's just, okay. It's fun. It's just a fun... movie with a lot of memorable, stupid scenes. But I like it. I've watched it way too many times. I like when he runs through the yards. That's the scene I like the best, because I'm not a very smart person. That little shit. Okay. It's been a little while since I played this, so we're probably going to have to do some remembering. Bow, bow. We're finding out that a lot of this dude...
Methane is a greenhouse gas, one of the most potent.
Is remembering.
Other industrial disasters may have been more severe, but Oceanova was groundbreaking, like you said. It could be years before we know all the consequences. We might never understand the ecological impact. It was very expensive, and 19 people died. Like it or not, you're the human face of all this. So what do you say to your critics?
I believe in what we were doing.
But was it worth the cost?
Well, we crashed the sub into another sub full of people. They all died. And now we find out that this dude is talking to, I guess, a therapist later on, or maybe it's an interview, like, for criminal activity, or, like, neglect, I'm not sure. But it's pretty fucked up. Is that bootleg Game Boy? Handheld game console. In some other life before the Hab, Sala was a soldier. He didn't need to say so, but that didn't stop him. Or a reporter. Could be a reporter. He liked to joke that this battered plastic brick was bulletproof on account of their having survived numerous combat missions together. He said it's how he earned all of his extra lives. That's true, though. There's a Game Boy at Nintendo World that was in the Gulf War that's still running. It's all, like, fucked up. Is the game really that loud? Because I changed no settings since the last time I streamed this. How is it now? Restore the power. Oh no. I will not survive the crab battle. Oh. I wouldn't say they're zombies necessarily. Allow thrussies to cool down completely before attempting a leap of faith. Yeah, this isn't exactly zombie game. It's just memories or visions. You know, the dude gets nervous and he uses too much oxygen, like one would use too many napkins at a pizza place. And then things start to happen. Things are seen. I wouldn't exactly call this just a walking simulator. You get to fight, you shoot flares. You have to be careful about oxygen management. It's a walking simulator to some extent, but with a little more going on than that. It's been entertaining. The only problem I had with it was I got stuck in a fucking corridor. Last time I played this. Did I miss a dead body? The collectibles in this game are dead bodies, by the way. Much like you would collect Pokemon or moons in Mario Odyssey. Well, I might have to go back that way anyway, so if I missed a body, I'll try to get it on the way back. But yeah, there was an earthquake, and things went horribly wrong, and we're finding out that only this dude survived, I believe. It was on the floor where the zombie appeared? Okay. I'm finishing up that Eric Idle autobiography, by the way. Anyone here, if you're a Monty Python fan, or even remotely interested in Monty Python, it's an excellent book. It's about an 8-hour audiobook, 8.5 hours, and I recommend the audiobook because he reads it, and it's great. I loved it. I'm thinking to myself, fuck, I don't want this to be over. He's a funny, irreverent, classy, smart, interesting dude. Who makes good music. And I love him. He's good. Good person. Good people. Everyone has a Monty Python phase, same with Zeppelin. And they are almost insufferable throughout. It's just like your shitty opinion, man. I tend to go back to Monty Python like once every 5 years. I did go through an insufferable Led Zeppelin phase. Not so much insufferable Monty Python. Maybe, I mean, you tell me, chat. Tell me if it's getting bad. But my Led Zeppelin phase was pretty fucking terrible. I was like a year and a half to 2 years to the point where I bought like a copycat Les Paul guitar because I wanted to be like Jimmy Page. And it was, yeah. Everyone I met, have you heard about Led Zeppelin? I've heard about them. What about them? They're really good! No, it wasn't a plastic piece of shit, it was an Epiphone. But it's such a heavy guitar. It's too goddamn heavy. Overload, overload, overload. Up to the overload. No, it was a good Epiphone. It was fine for a little while. I didn't really know what tone meant at the time. I didn't really know what I wanted to play and what would work for me, and it absolutely did not work for me. I'm probably going to Frankenstein the guitar at some point and just turn it into something. My friend Bill wants to help me do it. Like, just put a bunch of weird custom parts into it. What do I play? Strat and a Gretsch. 815. I don't know how I knew to look there, but... those are the two that I like the best. The Rickenbacker's cool. But it's for very specific sounding stuff that I don't usually play. 815.
You're an engineer. You're a problem solver. You value logic and precision. You talk a lot about times, distances, values, and yet there were some challenges you couldn't solve.
Numbers are easy. It's people that are complex. Numbers bring things into focus. No gray areas to distract you from getting things into perspective.
Yeah. Alright. We're not going to discuss the writing in this game again. But I think if the actors delivered their lines a bit more like James Sunderland, they'll be like, oh, that's cool, that's like, that's a thing. It's an affectation like David Lynch is directing. Ethan, did you see pictures of the Monster Hunter movie? I didn't. I don't see any dead bodies here. Yeah, I didn't, and I don't think I'm all that interested in looking at pictures of the movie just yet. I'll probably end up watching it just so I can talk about it on stream, but the concept of the movie is very silly. Squids. The concept for the Battleship movie was not silly. Whoa, where are you getting that from? How are you extrapolating that from my sentence? Pretty big leap in logic. Battlefield movie, or the... what was it? Battleship movie is just pure schlock. I mean, I haven't even seen most of it. I've seen bits and pieces of it. My friend Dan was trying to get me to watch that whole movie for so long. Doesn't Rihanna have like 4 lines in it or something? It's not even good bad. Oh man. And I'm glad I refused to watch it. It's bad bad. Yeah, bad bad's not good. Bad. Man. I get bored. Honestly, I get bored with movies that are... like, for example, that fucking Tommy Wiseau and Greg Sestero movie, that could have been cut in half. And as good as Pacific Rim was, and I enjoyed Pacific Rim quite a bit, I still... you know, I still felt like, okay, I know what's gonna happen. The big robots are gonna fight the other guys. I'm getting old. I'm getting senile. You know, I'm getting up there in the age. so I like when we get to action sequences in a movie, I'm like, okay, I know how this is gonna go down generally. I don't think the key card is in here. Vinny, you're like a full 2 years younger than I am. Please stop. I'm just messing around. Come on. If you've been here, you know I mess around. Like, for example, Santa Claus is not real and Jesus didn't happen. But, yeah, I don't mind a good action movie. I like, Mad Max Fury Road a lot. Like, times 1,000. Sorry about that. I like the way the movie is edited. The action sequences in that movie keep me interested. Like driving a forklift or swinging a golf club, after enough use, an ADS eventually becomes an extension of you. Second nature is a matter of habit. He wasn't part of the dive crew, but Sella still managed to log hundreds of hours out on hikes. Not for fun exactly, so just so we'd know he had. I guess it's a little like being stabbed in the back, seeing and hearing your suit system shut down around you one by one, which is worse. A slow death from a wound you can't see, or being betrayed by a suit with which you thought you'd bonded. Like a tall drink of water on a hot summer day. But why is it that Mad Max's action scenes can keep me interested when a lot of other movies tend to, just kind of get me a little bored? Is it just because the editing is so meticulously, like, you know, thought over? Every, like, second of it? Practical effects. There's more special effects in that movie than most people think. It's just you tend to notice the bad effects shots. That movie has good effect shots. No shaky cam. You know, the other thing too is shaky cam and a good sense of like where the action is happening, which a lot of movies do cut so quick. Like again, I like Pacific Rim well enough. I didn't see the second one, but I liked the first one, and but it still got to a point where my eyes were just glazing over, and I was like, yeah, it's fine. Things are happening. How do you feel about John Wick? I've seen the first John Wick. And yeah, it's a good action movie. It's another one that there's a lot of attention and detail put into it. The second is meh. God damn it, where's this goddamn key card? Ever see Hardcore Henry? No, but I saw Hardcore with George C. Scott. How are you not asleep at Marvel movies? Oh, trust me. Some of those sequences can be really, really boring for me. But I like the character interaction. Sometimes some of the action scenes are well done. Like, I think that there's less shaky cam as they go on. And again, there's more of a sense of geography, to the point where you know who's fighting who and where. But before I continue talking about nonsense, does anyone know where the fucking keycard is? Take the path to the right. There is a dude up there. A key card on this dude? See, I'm wondering if maybe I have to shoot the key card down. if he in fact has it. Go. Oh, fuck. Go back to the Green Man? I don't know where the Green Man is. Green Man wouldn't be back this way, right? Shh. I gotta have oxygen too. Someone's saying I have to jump from tower to tower to get the key card. Which is expecting a lot. From me. That's exactly what I have to do. Alright, I need oxygen before I continue trying to do this. There is no oxygen. It's all... I think I got all of it. All gone. I spent too much time... Oh wait, there's one. I spent too much time faffing. F-A-F-F-I-N-G. It's gonna be very clear. Really, dude? Fucking leap of faith. Yeah, I didn't expect platforming from this game. Really didn't expect this. Not like this, at least. But it is done. Castlevania Season 2, isn't that on Friday?
Does it get easier answering all the same questions?
You know, people ask all kinds of questions. What they ask says a lot about their character, especially when it comes to casualties.
Yeah. Red Dead 2 and Castlevania, pretty fucking cool. Vinny, is this game called Narcosis or Narcolepsy because it's putting me to sleep?
So what's the response when they
oh.
do ask about the gory details?
I oblige. See which way they want to take it. I mean, what people don't get is that they don't want me to keep going. Not really. There's only so much blood and guts people can take before they lose their appetite. Everyone has their limits.
So I can stream Red Dead 2 tomorrow, actually. So I will be doing that. Okay. Alright, I get it. Scary suits, I get it. What? I'm confused. I just don't... I thought that was like a hallucination. I guess I have to stay away from one of them? I can't get out of this area. Oh, there's one becoming more frozen, I see. I get it. Today I learned you could, die in hallucinations. But I guess they're memories. And memories lie.
You're very candid when describing some circumstances. Times when you felt crippled with fear, coming across the bodies of friends and colleagues.
Yeah.
It's clear you care, but there's an undercurrent of detachment in the way you present some of the more difficult moments. Was that your intention?
No, I've heard that before. I just did my best to paint a clear picture. When it comes to empathy, there's no manual for that.
That was Mr. Spock. As much as someone could be down here, I mean, we're all in this together. Anders was in charge, always on the move, checking up on people in progress and writing it all down. I found him in the hallway overlooking the meadow. Did he drown? Maybe methane exposure? I don't know. They say the devil's in the details, but who can say? Either way, everything around here just feels off. Castillo. This is the first, for the first or the 50th, 50th, trudging through the extractor farm always puts a little ice in your blood. Someone, can't remember who, someone said it's like a forest of metal trees, roots soaking up the salt of the earth. JJ walked these fields pretty much daily. Now he's watching over them like a second-rate scarecrow. Like a tall drink of water, attracting more scavengers than he repels. I can still hear him now, cracking jokes and talking shit. Like father, like son. God knows how Dr. Van der Rohe managed to get herself into ADS, let alone make it that far on foot. Even for those of us who get poured in daily, it's not exactly a one-man job. I found her about a mile from the crash site, a tiny lighthouse in the storm, beacon to nowhere. But to come this far and not see it through? Something inside must have broken down. Can't see why else she'd be sitting out here all alone. Another ghost in the machine. Narration Ford is one of... Oh, that's a cool way to put it. Like... Maybe it was in that moment she learned to love the underwater more than she ever had. But speaking of, like, really shitty cuts and action movies, just for a second, there was an action movie I want to reference. I can watch a movie that does jump cuts a lot and still confuses me. I can still enjoy it to some extent. But the fucking Quantum of Solace movie, the 007 movie, second Daniel Craig James Bond movie. I watched it once and I wanted to puke. It's just very confusing. Wasn't a good Bond movie. It's very forgettable. Eruptions. Did that say Red Vappyvap? What did that say? Moonwalk? Redux. It said Redux. I looked at it real quick. I was about to say, they're fucking like... Developers are implanting things into the game.
Is it luck?
Conditioning. Conditioning and discipline. That's how I got down there in the first place, and that's how I got out. It's about keeping tethered to the task. You don't let yourself forget about the reality around you. You can't.
Spectre was another tough one. I couldn't watch that. Tried. Started it. I started watching that movie several times. Okay, 2 times. And I couldn't get through it. God. Yep, I vine blinded. % O2. That's cod swallop. That's no. No, no, no! God damn it, game! What are you doing, Dave? I'm scared, Dave. 5-dimensional Rubik's Cube over here. Vinny, you keep shitting on this game. What do you like about it? I like it more than I dislike it. It just gets a little bit annoying. Just, you know, there are times where... because you move so slow, and I get lost easy, and some of it's a little predictable, but when it gets to cool stuff like this, I like it quite a bit. That's a human body. Vinny, why do you live in New York? Vinny, why do you live? Well, the alternative seems dark. Like, actually, lights out dark. I prefer the lights on. Yeah, I like, there are things I like about this game. I like the setting, I like the flares and stuff, I like the squids, crabs. I like that it's a psychological thing and not just like zombie ghosts. But things do get a little vague, some of the puzzle solving gets a little bit... Like, for example, I was looking in there earlier, but the number didn't register until just now. I see. So you have to go right up to the thing that has the number on it. So you have to look at, like, everything, and then you get the passcode. Vinny, why do you actually choose to live in New York? I'm curious. You probably could get this from another stream of mine where I talk about New York. I like it here. I like the bands that come through here. I like that I have friends here. I like that I live just close enough to the city that there's a lot of cool stuff to do. You know, that David Bowie exhibit came through the city. That was really cool. Shit like that. I like the food. I like that I'm close enough to New Jersey that I could drive over there and, like, you know, go to a beach or whatever. Vinny, why do you eat food? I like to produce what the Earth wants, which is, you know, I have to give the planet what it wants, because that's what people are here for. I figured out the meaning of life, and it's that. Otherwise, why would we do that? Why would we expunge? So I give the Earth its expungence that it requires. That's why I'm here on this planet. And, you know, you can't do that without eating first. Or someone in chat said, we make shit so sewers can eat. Exactly, exactly. But yeah, New York is great. I love going into the city when I do. I love walking around. I love being in a place where I can you know, go to someplace interesting almost anytime. Pretty sure that registered as a 0. No. Why is the lady so big? Chat, it's like... I know you're doing it on purpose, but it reminds me of when I used to ask, like, my parents, like, stupid question. Like, why is the sky blue? Why are clouds fluffy? I don't recall ever having asked that question in particular. Why is Pee Wee Herman weird? Why do I have this doll? I want to throw it out the window of the car. Why do we pee? Vinny, my dog hates your stream and barks at it if she's in the room. Well, then she does not get any treats from Vinny. No treats. The dog will be denied all treats.
You saw terrible things. And even if you made it to the surface, you couldn't count on being rescued. I mean, I'd have lost my mind. Did you ever feel like you were losing it just a little?
No. When they found me, I'd been floating on the surface for at least 5 hours. I talked with therapists and trauma experts for months. Said I was hiding the hurt. But it's not true. I made mistakes down there, yes, but did I lose my mind? No. No way.
Oh. So this room being, donut-shaped and large bigoo in the middle of it, that was all just fine. Vinny, where can we see your band play? That's a nice question. You'll get your paycheck later for that one. Nowhere. Because we aren't playing live. Not at the moment. Too much going on. Everybody's got something going on. Or, you know, whatever. And it's just a lot of work. And it's especially a lot of work on me. I have to remember all the lyrics. I have to teach myself how to sing. One day I'll figure that part out. And then, learn how to play the guitar parts. I don't even remember how to play half of the songs anymore. So I'd have to relearn them. Big Brat is... I've said this before too, but the best song is always the next one for me, so I like to just keep writing, keep moving. Eventually, I would like to do live stuff. I really would, but it's just not the time. Joe's got another baby on the way. Bill's got his first baby. He's taken care of. Mike had the herniated disc in his neck. And I'm memeing it up hard. Lots of babies, yeah. People are babbing it up lately. When's your baby coming? And then the next sentence was, meat is your baby. Oh man, I want to use my thrusticles to get out of here, but it's so difficult.
This entire experience is defined by the fact that you came back alone. Your story started with 20 people, but ends with 1. So when it comes to telling those stories, you're the only one who can.
Yeah. There's a responsibility to get things right. For the record.
Definitely didn't lose my mind. What would you name your baby if you had one? Probably Thanos. I'm a big proponent of Thanos culture. Name him Yeet. That'll be his middle name. Thanos or Thanosa. Yeet will be the middle name no matter what. And, yeah, there you go. Thanos Yeet Fortnite. So, some asshole's gonna name their kid Fortnite one day. You know what's gonna happen. Yeah, someone, I wonder what happened to Dovahkiin. There was actually someone who named their child Dovahkiin for a Bethesda contest or some shit. Like, I really wonder if they decided to keep that name. Or if they're gonna just grow up thinking games are stupid, because their parents like their stupid games. You know, it is... Oh man, I just thought of something. I wonder if it's just gonna become, like, gaming's gonna become so ubiquitous that it'll be like movies where, you know, just because you don't like your parents and they watch movies, you're not gonna, like... Listen, I don't know, maybe there's people out there that won't watch movies because they hate their parents so much and their parents watch movies. But I'm wondering... You know, one of the things that made gaming even better was that, you know, parents don't know what this is about. This is my life. This is my epicness. But, you know, my parents didn't play games, so I didn't grow up with... I know some of you probably grew up with parents that played games with you, or you could watch them play games. I didn't have that. But now... kids are gonna have parents that are like huge into gaming, not just like Pac-Man or like the original Zelda, but you know, people whose parents like spent, you know, 30 hours a week in World of Warcraft. And I wonder if kids are gonna like reject that. Like, oh yeah, my mom's always on the phone. She sucks. So I don't do the phone. Phones are stupid. I don't like the text. I don't play games. My dad's always playing Warcraft. World of Warcraft, World of the Universe of Warcraft. So yeah, that's stupid. I don't do any of that. I like, you know, read and go to the library and like grow my own oats. And I'm like, you know, trying to like solve problems in the world. And then they play Stardew Valley once and get addicted, and then the world loses another scientist. Thank you, Green Stinky Man. Alright, let's do this. We're gonna unlimited thrust. Here's a mega thrust. Yeah, my mom and dad love memes. They grew up watching this Vinesauce guy. They're just really into memes. I hate them. What do you mean you don't like memes? It's just, I don't know, it's so 15 years ago. I mean, Monty Python was counterculture. To some extent. And then they just became, oh, yeah, well, if you're a Brit, you know Monty Python. You know, the Beatles were all shat on because we're bigger than Jesus, and their songs were about thrust. You know, Elvis, too. These were like, you know, these are people who pissed off the previous generation and parents, and were just considered to be like... Rolling Stones were like dangerous. Oh, Jesus. So this is the hand garden. Yeah, they were corrupters of the youth. Them Rolling Stones are bastards! You know what I mean? So now they're just old men. Just old people. They're like cultural icons. They get invited to do the Olympics. When they were hosted in London. They're lame to kids today. Oh, Paul McCartney, that old man, you mean? You know, the guy that wrote Helter Skelter? Oh, you mean the old man? Okay, he's not cool. Dad rock, bro. These guys thrust like the best of them.
You alright? Come on, let's get back to the house.
You know, them Stones were partying until like 7 in the morning. Just like the fucking seediest of the seedy, and now they're just like old. Like, yeah. Just, you don't want to think about old people. Oh no, I'm not salty. I think it's just an interesting...
Open Air. I'm Emily Kaler.
I'll be there soon enough.
If you're just
so will
joining
you.
us, my guest is Kip Mattis, sole survivor of the Oceanova disaster. His first book, Hell or High Water, is a harrowing account of his ordeal. Earlier, we talked about the life aquatic, escaping the flooded habitat, and being lost on the seafloor inside a half-ton titanium diving suit.
Life Aquatic is a good movie. Yeah. And then, you know, society adjusts. The counterculture, what was cool, then is considered no longer cool. And then a generation later, it's cool again. Like, I got into classic rock partly because I didn't like the stuff that was happening in like music, and, you know, I didn't really like a lot of my classmates. They were listening to stuff that I thought was stupid. So that was my rebellion, listening to classic rock. Such a dumbass. But I'm glad I have it because I love it. Little Neil Young. Nothing like some Neil Young to make you feel good. Did Gen X hate the Beatles and Zepp? I don't know. I know Kurt Cobain loved the Beatles and Zeppelin. He was also into punk rock. You know, the people that are now in their 60s and 70s. It's just, no, it's not, I'm not even salty about it. It's
I
just
know this
interesting
might not be easy,
thought process.
but
for
I'd
me.
like to talk about the end. Can you read that for us?
Yeah. The list is getting shorter. The hatch opens with its usual reluctance, flooding the room with light. The pod is there. I'm going home. Tomorrow I'll be the sole survivor. But for now, I'm not alone.
We're gonna do this, so we're finally gonna get out of the abyss.
How did you feel when you figured it out?
At that point, and that close, I was running on fear. So when I saw another suit in the room, it's almost too much to process. I couldn't believe that it was...
Virgil? Is that you?
Virgil made it. Just like me.
How did you get? I thought everyone was...
Only I'm locked inside the pod and he's locked out.
Can you hear me?
Oh shit.
Stop the launch. There's no override.
He's not coming back.
Oh God. I'm sorry.
And that's on me.
30 seconds to
Oh shit.
So are you saying that if you did something differently, that Virgil would have lived?
That's right. Until I saw him, fear in his eyes, I thought I was the only one. It was a bad call.
evacuation. 5,
This can't be happening.
3, 2, 1.
Oh God, I'm sorry.
Evacuation commencing.
No.
Damn.
You didn't kill him.
Really? Who did? Bad luck? I'm responsible. Look, I'm up here talking with you, and he's still out there.
Wow, that was a really good twist. Blindsided me. Yeah, it was good. I have my problems with the game. I got bored a lot, but it was creepy, and there were some really good, weird, surreal moments, and I like the underwater aspect quite a bit. I think I kind of have to verbalize this because there are some people in chat that didn't really understand what was happening. The narrator was in the pod. My character was never the narrator. That narrator was a different dude. So it makes sense that he didn't lose his mind. Yeah, this dude lost his mind, but the dude who got away in the end, maybe he was solid. Yeah, no, I mean, it's not quite Silent Hill 2, but what is? I liked it. You know, I'm into underwater spook games, and I think this one definitely had its issues, but it had some pretty good moments, and the twist was good. So, I don't regret it at all. Rank the underwater spook games. Well, Soma... I mean, Subnautica I would consider a spook game to some extent because it is scary when the fucking... You know, the Leviathans show up.
It's been more than a year since all this happened. You wrote a book and told your story. Are you ready to be done?
Yeah. It's time to move on. Get myself working again.
Kip Mattis, thank you so much for spending time with me today.
Thanks for having me, Emily.
Yep. Open Air is an award-winning interview show delivering revealing one-on-one conversations with luminaries in the fields of art and literature, business and politics, science and technology, sports and entertainment, hosted by Emily Kaler. Weekday program is one of the longest-running and most popular shows on public national radio.
So as you said, after the Earth... Welcome back to Open Air.
Methane is a greenhouse gas, one of the most potent. Other industrial disasters may have been more severe, but Oceanova was groundbreaking, like you said. It could be years before we know all the consequences. We might never understand the ecological impact.
Yeah, I missed a couple people. I didn't collect all of them. You know, all the bodies. It's a morbid way to look at that, but it's true. Yeah, I think Subnautica is my favorite underwater spook game, even though it's not really a spook game. It's just my favorite underwater game, probably of all time. And, then, you know, Soma is amazing. I don't know, it's really hard for me to say. I mean, if you're gonna go underwater spook game, it's Soma. If you're gonna go underwater game, it's Subnautica. But there's an element of, spook in Subnautica. So, it's kind of hard to say. One thing people are telling me to check Virgil's thing. I should do that. That I'm interested in. I'm not really interested in the other characters, but let me find out. Where? Virgil. There's the knife. So, grandfather's diving career ended before I was born. Even though I knew these stories by heart before learning to read or write, I have just 2 memories of him and water. In the first, I'm old enough to walk just just learning to ride. We stopped to picnic in Scarlet Field. Small pond catches my eye, and then I'm falling. Going to drown, I'm sure of it. And then 2 seconds later, his hand's on mine, pulling me up. Next day, I start learning to swim. That doesn't really tell me a lot about him, but I know a lot about the dude's grandfather. I guess that's his ghost. I was your ghost, Virgil. Diver's knife. I'm 11 again. In my dreams, grandfather shakes me from my sleep. Silently, I help him don the tools of his trade, so frail a husk. The copper helmet alone should be too heavy to bear, but somehow between my bedroom and the beach, the ragged suit restores the ragged man. At the water's edge, he puts a finger to his lips and then points the knife to his waist. An antique that's lost its luster with its edge. With a strength and purpose I've never seen but always known, he cuts the ties that bind us, then strides into the sea. Yeah. Yeah, it was cool. There was a couple things there that I liked. And like I said, I think it was worth it.